Hello, and welcome to Brian's Bytes, bite-sized tech tips to help you take control of your technology and live better. In this edition, I'll show you how to use a feature that allows you to easily turn an email exchange into a calendar item. How much time have you spent searching email for a piece of information that was shared with you at an earlier date? Well, we're lucky enough at Align to have lots of tools available to us, including a CRM. But there are some functions within Microsoft Outlook that allow you to plan ahead if you know when you're going to be needing to use a piece of information. So in today's tip, I'm going to help share those with you to help make sure you don't drop the ball. To demonstrate this function, I asked Kathy on our team to share a hypothetical scenario with me. As you'll see here, I have an email from Kathy, and we're discussing something we'll need to take action on at a future date. And the specifics of this email are less relevant. What you need to focus on is the fact that it will involve future action, both on my end as the individual receiving the email, and also includes some degree of collaboration with Kathy. So as you see here, in this hypothetical, Kathy emailed me suggesting that John Doe, one of our clients, called earlier and expects that they'll need some money from their account at some point in January. Their goal is to make sure we don't do any selling before January because of tax purposes. Again, details you don't need to be concerned with at this point. But Kathy and I plan to have a meeting in January to reach out to the client. So my action items, I know that I'll need to be placing some trades come January. And after those trades are placed, I'll need to connect with Kathy. Now, typically I would program this into our CRM so we have it baked into our system. But there are some ways I could also put this action item into Outlook in a way that I can call it up easily at those future dates. And I'm going to walk you through those now. The first thing I'll do is I'm going to set an appointment. An appointment is something within the Outlook calendar that is shared with only that particular Outlook user. So you're probably used to scheduling meetings in Outlook that include collaboration and others, of course. An appointment is something specific to you. And so what I want to do is I want to set a reminder to myself that I need to place trades on the first day of January. And the beauty of this function, this feature, is I don't have to step out of my Outlook email and step into my Outlook calendar. I can actually hold all of the information in one place. So I have my reference information at a point when I need it. And I'll demonstrate that now. So I go into the email, and on my message menu, you may have to add it on your end, but there's an option to establish an appointment. So I'm going to double click on appointment. And once I do that, a new window pops up and I get to schedule that appointment. So what I'll do here is I'm going to set a reminder to myself to place those trades in January. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to choose, well, I'm not going to choose January 1st because that's a holiday and there's no trading. I'm going to choose January 4th, the first trading day of 2021. And I'm going to set a specific time. I'm going to set a time of 9:30 when the market's open. And you'll see here, once I save this, the actual email is also saved in my calendar. So on January 4th, when that day arrives, or in the weeks leading up, I get to look at my calendar. I'll see a placeholder item here, and I'll actually get to see all of the backup information and why I'm doing this. Since it's an appointment for me, I might include a little bit of additional detail. Example, trade. And I'm going to save this to my calendar. So now if I go to my calendar, I'll have a placeholder item. That item will show, and I'll have the history of this email there. The other thing I'll do is, this wasn't just a follow-on action for me. In many instances, we were required to collaborate with team members or clients or whatever it may be. So I'll be placing the trades on January 4th, and I know that Kathy and I will have to have a follow-up discussion regarding this particular task. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a new calendar item. This one will be a meeting. So what I do is I have the meeting option up here. I'm going to select meeting. And as you'll see, there's an option to include attendees because in fact it's a meeting, not just an appointment with myself. Next, I'm going to designate a date after the trades are placed. So I'm going to choose the morning of the 5th so Kathy and I can discuss getting the funds to the client and following up with the client regarding this request. And we'll put that at 9 a.m. And as you'll see here, when I send this, Kathy will receive a calendar invite. It will be added to my calendar, of course, and I have all of the history here. I'm going to add a note just so Kathy and I know our next step. Brian placed trades yesterday. We need to discuss and follow up with John Doe. I hope you enjoy our spelling of Doe in John Doe. And now I'm going to send this off to Kathy. You know what? I don't even need to include a location, but I could include a webinar link if it was something that we needed to discuss or a phone number there. So let's just send that out. And now I don't have to waste any time on January 4th or January 5th looking for this information, and it's already built into my calendar. For today's bonus tip, I'm going to show how you can easily reach out to people involved in a meeting. Some of you may be familiar with this already, but what we're looking at now is that calendar entry. So I actually went into Outlook, I opened up the calendar entry. And in this example, we have, as you'll see, all of the history. Let's pretend that the client called back and they said there was something else that they needed to discuss as it related to that request. One of the things that we can do is we can actually go into that calendar entry and make sure we're reaching out to everybody involved and informing them. So let's take a look at how that might work. If you look on the top part of my screen here, you'll see contact attendees. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reply to all with an email. So if there were 2 meeting attendees, they could be included in this email, or you could send it to everybody involved in the meeting, invited to the meeting. And all I have to do now is, as you'll see, the history is attached. And all I have to do now is send a follow-up email with all the relevant details I want to include. This is particularly helpful if for some reason a conflict comes up. Let's say I had a meeting scheduled with Kathy and there was an emergency and I wanted to reach out to her and say, oh, Kathy, I am going to be a little late. Let's discuss this after lunch. Again, the benefit of this is all of the history is in one place. We don't need to be chasing information. I send that away, and all the relevant information is attached to that email. I've found that to be particularly helpful in making sure that all information is consolidated in one place. And when that's the case, of course, there's less opportunity for error and mistakes. So that was my bonus tip today. So often I find myself going into meeting invites and contacting attendees, as opposed to just trying to start a fresh email and think of everybody that was invited to the meeting and then send an update without any of the history attached. Thanks again for joining me. I hope you found today's edition of Brian's Bytes to be helpful, and please feel free to share it with anyone who might benefit. Thanks so much.